The game is called The Silent Spy, but nobody ever shuts up. The high-tech international spy group communicates via snail mail. Why did Ewan include a picture of Nancy's mother with this letter?
This is where Mom was in the picture. Okay, now what?
Why does Nancy think she has to go to the location shown in the picture? There is nothing in the letter that indicates she should do this.
Hey, my suitcase!
Who stole Nancy's suitcase?
I'm on it. That guy's a thief! I really thought I was going to get that guy.
It takes less than a second for Alec to give up chasing after the thief. Alec is bad at his job.
I'm Alec.
Nancy, that's a nice offer, but...
What's a nice offer? Alec didn't offer you anything. All he did was introduce himself.
Go check into your hotel. I will find your suitcase.
Why did Nancy come here before going to her hotel? She was given a hotel key card. She should have gone there first. Nancy is not at all suspicious that a person who specializes in finding missing items appears seconds after she is robbed.
I've got a bit of housekeeping to do. Get settled. I'll call you when I'm ready.
Ewan goes through all the trouble of bringing Nancy to Scotland, only to totally ignore her for the first hour of the game. How is Ewan unprepared for Nancy's arrival? He's the one who lured her here. He knew she was coming long before anyone else did. Nancy doesn't bring any money on her international trip. This is the second copy of the folder. Where is the first copy? Why did Ewan let Nancy know she's been double-crossed here at the start of the game? He's the one who double-crossed her. Nancy is not at all suspicious that Cathedral wants her to stay in the room that the terrorists prepared for her. Nancy's first job is to find Moira. Her second job is, actually, Ewan never gives her a second job. That's a little weird. Nancy doesn't even try to find Moira herself. You had one job, Nancy! Zoe just happens to be walking down the hallway the same second Nancy opens her door. How did Zoe learn Nancy would be coming to Scotland? How did she find out so quickly? She found out about it long before Carson did, and he lives with Nancy. Zoe walks away from the elevator, yet somehow manages to get outside before Nancy does.
I'll be outside. There's something very important I need to tell you.
You had something important to tell me?
Just that I love Americans.
There was no reason to go outside in order to tell Nancy this. Zoe tries to befriend Nancy by disguising herself as a creepy stalker. This is not a good plan.
I got a book about it. I could get it for you. It's only up in my room.
Bridget goes to get a book for Nancy. Nancy runs away instead of waiting for her to return. Nancy is a jerk. How do people place these custom-made cookie orders?
A reporter named Moira Chisholm. Word is no one knows how to find her.
Who told you that, Nancy? Alec reserves this seat for his own personal use. Train stations don't work like that.
Your first test. You will find an envelope.
If it wasn't for the subtitles, I would not understand anything Revenant is saying.
Pay attention to where I'm calling from. There's a pattern. Figure it out and find me.
That sounds like a neat puzzle. Too bad we never get to solve it.
She's out in Bearston. You can take the train out there.
Bearsden has about 30,000 people living in it. You're going to have to be more specific.
I think I could have been a great professor of psychology, but I never could sit in a chair, now could I?
Then why do you have a chair reserved just for you?
And I got a thing for the crumpets here.
Alec mentions the crumpets here multiple times, but there are no crumpets for sale at the train station.
Revenant is supposedly a terrorist group. You've never heard of them?
Nope, so hardly terrifying.
Revenant made the front page of the newspaper. Everyone should know about them.
If you want to talk, come back with some food.
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliché.
You don't have my permission to be in Scotland. Come home right now.
Your permission? I think I'm a little too old for that.
But you're not too old to move out of Dad's attic and get your own house. Nancy and her dad are horrible at communicating with each other, just plain horrible. Carson is worried for Nancy's safety, so he purposely withholds information from her, thereby putting her in a lot more danger. Carson is an idiot. Where is Hannah during this entire game?
I prefer haiku. Easier to understand.
I see what you did.
Did Ned have this haiku joke prepared in advance? Because if not, he is amazing at counting syllables while speaking.
I got that book you wanted.
She didn't want the book. You insisted on giving it to her.
Nancy, I had no idea. I would never have... Please, come in.
Moira wouldn't have sent Nancy away on a pointless chore if she had known it was Nancy at the door. This is why Nancy should have introduced herself. Even as a baby, Nancy avoided showing her face at all times.
Who is that?
Subtitles say polite knocking is loud pounding. The kidnappers search Moira's house thoroughly in the death scene. In the normal version of the scene, they don't search her house at all. Moira stands in place and does nothing, instead of helping Nancy hide.
No one can know you're here. Ah, gentlemen.
Moira crosses the room and opens the door in 1 second. Who kidnapped Moira? Why did they kidnap Moira? What happened while she was kidnapped? How did she get away from the kidnappers? Why doesn't Moira ever talk to Nancy about her kidnapping? She acts like nothing happened. This puzzle.
Nancy, is everything okay?
Bess, something's going on.
They got a different voice for young Nancy, but not young Bess. Nancy goes to a Scottish lock, but she never says, "It's locked." I can't believe these lakeside buildings have been abandoned for 8 years and no one noticed they're here.
Nancy, come see me. I've put a card in your safe.
How did you get inside her room?
Password is your room number times the price of a serving of haggis at the deli outside the hotel.
Why?
Why not?
Because it's stupid. Just tell her what the safe code is. This spy center is awesome, but we don't get to look at everything. I want to touch all of the spy stuff.
Where were you? I wasn't sure if you had a party or if you got murdered.
Why was Bridget expecting Nancy to be here? It's not like she made plans to meet with Nancy.
My luggage. Alec must have had it delivered.
Why didn't Alec mention finding Nancy's suitcase when she talked to him earlier?
What's that?
There is no way Bridget using something in her room would make a flash in the chandelier in Nancy's room. How can Nancy see so clearly across such a large distance?
That is not normal.
What's so abnormal about walking around in your hotel room? To the casual observer, it looks like she's just trying to find phone reception. It's hard to see that the device in Bridget's hand is not a phone. What happened to the device? It's not in the room when Nancy goes there. Ewan shirt.
Is there anything you could tell me about Bridget?
That girl upstairs.
She's not upstairs. She's in an entirely different building. What was the point of giving everyone a code name when nobody uses them? Every time you look at a file, all the other files move around randomly. This is a ridiculously bad interface, which makes it hard to find what you're looking for. Why isn't there a file for Nancy's Aunt Eloise? Nedwin, Nedstifer? Who wrote this list of Ned's nicknames? Deirdre Shannon? Cathedral thinks it's unlikely someone would target Bess or George in order to get to Nancy. I guess they never played Ransom of the Seven Ships. American Intel once intercepted a package for Nancy. When? Why? What was in it? Logan from Shadow at the Water's Edge was secretly a spy the whole time, reporting to Scotland about Nancy's activities. Are you kidding me? The Hardy Boys have higher security clearance than Nancy does, but she doesn't get their help with this case. Joe Hardy is an extremely proficient tactician? Are we both thinking of the same Joe Hardy?
What about children, the elderly, people who are already sick?
I don't want to think about that.
Ewan doesn't like to think about innocent people being hurt, but he has no problem releasing multiple bombs all over the city.
Put the lines on the trash compactor.
There's only one line on the trash compactor.
My family, they need to know why I left. You have to make sure they find out.
What message?
Kate never said anything about a message. Why is there a spinning thing outside Zoe's window? Nancy zips over to Zoe's room multiple times. No one in the courtyard below ever looks up and sees her. This puzzle. Who is Zoe's phone contact? Nancy uses a gravity-based zipline in 2 directions. That's impossible.
I just saw a group of men in suits headed toward your room. They look like spies or something.
Nancy is awful at coming up with believable distractions. This puzzle. Zoe is not at all suspicious when Nancy follows her dead drop instructions right next to her.
Great. Give me your phone.
Um,
Come on. Give phone. Give me the phone.
Nancy gives her phone to Zoe for basically no reason. Apparently, Nancy doesn't lock her phone with a password.
Thanks for your... Whoa.
We don't follow up on this phone call. Whatever Revenant had to say will forever be a mystery.
Go home, Nancy Drew. Otherwise, you will die.
Zoe's mouth isn't synced with her dialogue.
who is the silent spy?
What?
The message I got mentioned a silent spy.
What message is Nancy talking about? The letter she got didn't say anything about silent spies. Young Nancy is a huge brat. Who did Alec leave this note for? Why did he leave it?
Found out the deal with that Alec fella. He's harmless.
Harmless?
I think so.
How are you not sure? What kind of sloppy spy are you? Both Alec and Bridget pass Ewan's background check. Ewan is terrible at background checks.
What are they?
Augmented reality glasses. But these... This is a custom job.
Ewan can tell all this without touching the glasses. The glasses have Zoe's name on them, but they still call her Bridget when talking about her glasses.
Is Moira really former cathedral?
That's true.
And she's retired?
Retired, fired. Guess one's easier to say than the other.
We can't talk to anyone about Moira being fired. Do we ever get an explanation as to why Zoe dressed up like Bridget? It seems like a ton of work for absolutely no payoff.
No one. Not even your father.
My father?
Someone's been talking to him. If you don't believe me, ask him about it. And listen to how he sounds. And
Nancy
don't you
doesn't
think
talk
it's
to her
funny
father
that he's
about the
having
fact
all
that
these
Revenant is
passport
communicating with
problems
him.
out of the blue, trying to pry as much information out of you before you end up dead?
Is that a threat?
Oh, okay. Don't answer. I guess that was a rhetorical question.
Don't call.
I don't have your number.
Yes, you do. She sent you several text messages as Bridget.
So you're now the proud owner of neat spy glasses.
What exactly do they do?
Right. I don't know.
Ewan is terrible at his job.
You want to play spy? Enjoy the toy. Here's the deal. You go forward like we never spoke.
What are you going to do?
Spy stuff. I'm gonna need you to cancel that last order. Here's the deal. You go forward like we never spoke.
What are you going to do?
Spy stuff.
The game assumes players won't notice they repeated the same conversation twice.
I'm going up a security level. That means extra security on the lift.
Zoe easily breaks in after Ewan beefs up security. Ewan is bad at his job. Why did Zoe steal a bunch of drone bugs? Nancy ignores all the spy gear here in favor of some coins.
Zoe here. From where I come, there I go.
That's a passphrase, all right, but...
Why did Zoe say her passphrase out loud? This puzzle. There are 6 boxes here. Nancy only looks at one. This puzzle.
Maybe I could convince Dad to help me with that.
Dad has refused to help you with everything for the entire game. Why is he your first choice for getting Mom's song? This diary is cute, but it serves no purpose.
I think there's something wrong with the outlet. Was that a bug?
It's not a very good bug if it immediately gets discovered whenever someone uses the outlet.
Hi, Mom. Wish I knew what you were talking about.
That makes 2 of us. The password is a 5-letter word. That is not a secure password. No one at Cathedral has changed the passwords in the past 8 years. Why did they hide this picture of Kate behind a password? Why does it get more security than anything else? Zoe must be pretty confident that the cleaning staff won't pick up the code puzzle pieces. How did Zoe set up this spy glasses puzzle when she never had the spy glasses? What is Nancy touching? Invisible buttons? This puzzle. Nancy ignores Zoe's note about a signal splitter at the lock. Why does she not care that the security in the cabin has been compromised? Zoe filed for 2 near-identical U.S. passports at the exact same time, and the government didn't notice.
Whoa, Samantha Quick? She's a spy.
You're just now figuring out that she's a spy?
Samantha?
Do what you have to do for Tatsa, but after that, the charade ends. Got that, sister?
Wow, Samantha Quick's voice sure changed a lot, huh? This puzzle. How did Zoe get the password to the archives? Zoe recovered most of the cards that Mom hid. How? Where were they hidden?
51.
How did he count the cards that quickly? Why didn't Ewan keep the cards when Nancy gave them to him? If he did, he would have gotten the formula much sooner. Culprit foils their own plot. Instead of hiding the cards in her safe for protection, Nancy leaves them out in the open, where anyone can get to them.
You used the alibi Samantha Quick before, haven't you?
The word is alias, Nancy, not alibi. You'd think the person who lived through Alibi and Ashes would know what an alibi is.
That's why I sold you out. And that's who you're up against. Unlucky for you, I'm not the bad guy here.
Alec follows up this dramatic revelation by yawning.
Servers are getting a bit hot. That alarm triggers when I need to cool them down.
Ewan says this even if you turn the temperature down. It sure takes Ewan a long time to reset the thermometer, huh? This puzzle. Moira is in earshot, but says nothing about the suspicious record. Once Nancy gets all the clues for the Jabberwocky puzzle, it magically turns into a cryptogram puzzle that has nothing at all to do with Jabberwocky. Cryptogram puzzle reused from previous games.
Your mother put us into hiding.
The scientist knows Nancy is Kate's daughter without being told.
Hiding that from them anymore. They want my work, they can have it. I'll leave it for them to find.
The scientist is leaving the formula where Revenant can get it. This is important information that Nancy should tell to someone. How did Alec know which room was Nancy's? Alec is using the laser pointer here. How did it end up on the windowsill? Alec is amazing at aiming laser pointers.
Run! To the elevator!
Where does Alec go? He and Nancy run to the elevator, then he's not there anymore. Who tied up Ewan? Why did they tie up Ewan? Ewan doesn't thank Nancy for saving him. Ewan is a jerk.
It's time for you to leave.
No.
I'm setting it up, you're leaving. I won't take no for an answer.
Ewan says he's sending Nancy home, then he doesn't. Culprit foils their own plot. Why did Alec leave behind this laser pointer? That was a really stupid mistake on his part. Why didn't the cleaning staff find the laser pointer? This puzzle. 51 cards become 14 cards. We're told Nancy needs the ace, or else the formula is useless. It seems to me that this would be pretty useful, even without the last card. It takes hours for all the cards to soak, but only takes a few seconds for the ace to soak. Nancy's task list tells her to find a safe place for the formula. She doesn't do this. How did Zoe know Nancy solved the formula puzzle?
This isn't yours. It belongs to the government.
You can't just...
Nancy teleports inside the elevator. This close-up of Zoe's gorgeous eyes.
I didn't want to wake you. You seemed so peaceful. I spent the last 10 minutes trying to wake you up. Wore me out a little.
Did she wake Nancy up or not? It's hard to focus on this puzzle when Zoe is talking at me the entire time. Zoe looks pretty clean for someone who crawled out of a trash compactor.
I've been tracking everyone else, but
Nancy hasn't been tracking Moira.
Ewan has taken my computer tap offline.
How does Nancy know this? Did she visit the cabin when I wasn't looking? Ewan doesn't mention the fact that his computer has been tapped. You'd think he would chew Nancy out for spying on him. Ewan conveniently leaves the room when Nancy needs to tap his computer. How did Ewan get this letter? Ewan scribbles all over the letter to Nancy. Ewan is a jerk. Kate says Nancy wore this horse shirt in kindergarten, but Nancy wears it in other games. Shouldn't she have outgrown it by now? Mom hid a letter in Dad's dictionary. What does the letter say? Why didn't Revenant ever try to steal it?
Why would you do this?
Because I can.
The culprit's motive is because I can, with no backstory or other explanation given. It's like they didn't even try to come up with a reasonable motivation. I'm glad we stopped Ewan, but Kate Drew's killer is still at large. Maybe Nancy should have tried to solve that mystery.
Color in any group, column, or row. You're going to need to move faster.
Zoe explains how to solve the puzzle, then immediately yells at you for not having solved the puzzle yet. Zoe is a jerk. This puzzle. This puzzle.
The colony operation has been stopped again. Zoe told me that all information related to the colony formula has been destroyed for good.
Unless Revenant made a backup copy, or one of their agents remembers the formula, or someone finds the scientist.
I will find the rest of those letters, even if it takes a lifetime.
Kate says she left a few things behind, not a few letters behind. Why are Nancy and her friends still going to Scoop? Don't they hate that place? Why is Brenda here? Shouldn't she be in jail? Many people who don't live in River Heights are here in this scene. George does not appear at all during the preview for the game about George.
Because I'm coming along too.
Bess spoils the plot twist that she replaces George in the game.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah! All right, I can do this. Yeah! Oh boy. Geronimo! Woohoo! Yeah! Yes! Woohoo!
I'm on it. That guy's a thief! Is no one going to trip him? This is a free pass! Don't worry, I'm a professional!
She's been snooping in my room again. Can I get a military drone? Oh, come on. Not to kill her, just to chase her around town. How long can those things stay airborne? Come on, picture it. I can confirm that the colony project has been rebooted. Contacts within Revenant and Cathedral both check out. She found the bug in her room. Do you want to explain to me why I even need to keep her around? Do you have anyone to spare to track Alex's sister down? No, I understand. I'll get to it when I get to it. Yeah, I miss you too. I know.